devastating news. JT Toppin, one of the best players in the country. He was averaging 22 points and 11 rebounds per game, both top 10 in the country. Injured late in the game, torn ACL, done for the season. Catastrophic news if you're Texas Tech. I don't know how we expect them to do anything in the NCAA tournament, over the last the last week or so here, especially they knock off number one Arizona on the road over the weekend. Toppin has a monster game, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, I'm getting my predictions ready for March. I can visualize this team, Texas Tech, 4 seed maybe. Maybe they could climb as high as a 3, dark horse. I think that's all completely shut now. I don't know how they win anything of meaning with JT Toppin done for the season. It's a tough day to be a Red Raiders fan, I think, to say the least. Am I right?
Yeah, guns down right now. It's an irrecoverable situation for this team because they are number 360 in all of college basketball in bench minutes. They have no depth. Non-existent. And you look at Luke Bangboye, the product out of the UK, started his college career at VCU. He's only played 20-plus minutes in 3 games all season long. And now he's likely going to be tasked to try to fill the ginormous shoes of one of the best bigs, if not the best big, I would argue he is, in JT Toppin. A guy, as you mentioned, who's averaging a double-double per game. And a guy where it's so critical, this team, because of the inside-outside action that they usually employ. So, usually if you the post with JT Toppin, he is excellent in terms of reading and recognizing what the defense is going to provide. If he is in a mano-a-mano situation, he will kiss off the glass often and splash too. But if he gets double teamed, which happens all the time, he kicks it out to the wings like a Christian Anderson and an Atwell. And those guys are bombs away. They're both shooting over 40% from way downtown. So with him out of the equation, that changes everything for Texas Tech. We talked about Richie Saunders, how massive a blow that was for BYU. We talk about Caleb Wilson, and he's going to be out, likely going to be back for the NCAA tournament, but no sure thing there for North Carolina with the torn ACL and a guy you simply cannot replace. Texas Tech, which I have on the 4-seed line right now, probably going to slide to a 5. They could be as low, Pat, as a 7 seed, and this was kind of a popular, trendy dark horse to not only represent the Final Four, but possibly cut down the nets in Indianapolis and win a national title. So devastating is indeed the word. You look at the Red Raiders' remaining schedule: Kansas State at home, Cincinnati at home, at Iowa State, TCU at home, and at BYU. Again, that BYU game, a couple of teams really absorbing those catastrophic injuries. JT Toppin was number 4 in the country in KPOY, Ken Pomeroy's Player of the Year ratings, a guy behind Boozer, Jefferson, and Yaxel Lindenborg of Michigan. Only those guys in that category. That's how valuable he is to this Texas Tech squad. He accounted for 31% of the team shots. He was shooting close to 60% from inside the arc. They're done. They're just royally screwed. Pour one out for the Red Raiders. Just a massive, catastrophic, unfortunate blow for a team that I think at a minimum was going to be a second weekend representative come March Madness.
Yeah, number to join the show, by the way, in case you're a Texas Tech fan or you are a Big 12 basketball fan or just a college hoops fan in general, and you agree that Texas Tech is, forget about them going deep in any kind of March Madness bracket you're making and you're filling out in a couple of weeks here. Forget about them cutting down the nets. You agree with us, or even if you disagree, you think that, maybe you get to some Herculean effort from the other guys on this team here. You can pick up the phone and call us at 310-840-4910. That's no exaggeration, though, Brad, to talk about this team being a trendy pick, a dark horse to win the title. You look at their schedule. Before last night, they really had one bad loss on the entire season.
Yeah.
Every other loss except the one on the road to UCF a couple of weeks ago was against a ranked team. That included your ILL earlier. They lost by 4. They lost to Purdue when they were number 1 on a neutral site. Lost to Arkansas, who was ranked on a neutral site. Lost on the road to Houston by 4. Lost at home to Kansas by 3. And they had wins over number 1 Arizona this past weekend. They beat Houston. They beat BYU. They beat Duke when they were number 3. They had so many quality wins. And, JT Toppin goes down, devastating. They end up losing in the final moments to Arizona State. And, yeah, I get there's I don't think there's any coming back from this, unfortunately. So,
No.
Again, the real question is in a couple of weeks now, if they're able to at least win the games that they're supposed to. And we look at the remaining schedule here for Texas Tech, who's right now number 13 in the country. There's only 2 ranked teams left on their schedule. At number 6, Iowa State, which they would have been underdogs anyway, even if JT Toppin was playing. And at number 23, BYU, which you mentioned, lost Richie Saunders. That team is limping right now. If they're able to beat the teams they should, Kansas State, Cincinnati, TCU, that gives them 22 wins in the regular season. They would be 22-9 if they lose to both Iowa State and BYU. Let's say they win one game in the Big 12 tournament. You're looking at 23-10. Again, this team, if JT Toppin was there, 4 seed, probably at worst. How much is the selection committee going to penalize them now? Just like we have to ask the question, how much is BYU going to get penalized for Richie Saunders being out for the rest of the season? And you think that they could slide down to as big of a 7 seed? Then all of a sudden, you're looking at this team very much in the conversation of being one and done in the big dance, which is just, last night it was about as bad as it can get. I feel like I have to restate that because it feels like you're waking up from a fever dream.
Yeah, look, they're going to get docked. There's no doubt. The committee has done this. There's a precedent that's been set with prior teams losing mega stars who are just so, again, irreplaceable and ultra valuable to those individual teams. So, what's it worth? Is it going to be a full seed line? I say at a minimum. It could be 2 seed lines. Again, there's more basketball to be played. Right, if they can handle the beak. And even if they lose to the somewhat mighty, obviously at Iowa State, I think that is going to be nearly, there's no automatic in anything college basketball, any sports, but nearly an automatic one in my estimation for the Cyclones inside Hilton. And the BYU will be a toss-up game. They'll have a few games to potentially fill in a proper replacement. Maybe they go to, Grant McCausland's going to go full small ball. That's a possibility as well. And this team, which jacks a ton of threes, over 50% of their shots of the season have come from beyond the arc. They're going to become even more highly reliant in that regard because they just don't have the size in the post. They don't have the depth as well to hang tough. This is a team that was very limited in terms of bodies they churn out. They're basically a 6-man rotation. And now more or less they're a 5-man rotation with a couple of stiffs coming off the bench. So, yeah, it just can't be overstated just how difficult a gut punch this is for McCausland and company to absorb. It's just so unfortunate, the timing of it. Obviously, you got a limited window now to try to figure things out because the madness is right around the corner. But Texas Tech, a team, again, I think it could be as low as a 7 seed. Some of the casuals out there, they may be listening, be like, oh, yeah, look at that record. Oh, I know about the Red Raiders. They come on a pretty good squad. The fight in Yosemite Sam's guns up all the way. I'm going to take them to win a couple of games. They're not going to win a single game, folks. JT Toppin is just that damn good. Sorry, Lubbock. It's going to be a long offseason and a whole bunch of what-ifs.